Welcome in, everybody. It's the Coach Matthew Mitchell Show. I am your host, Coach Matthew Mitchell. We are thrilled that you would join us this week, and we are so excited. It is an exciting time of year. It is March, and it is March Madness, college basketball's pinnacle of the season, of the college basketball season is here, the NCAA tournament. First four on the men's side started, I believe, on Tuesday. This episode drops on Wednesday. And so we're going to talk a little March Madness with you today, but we have an exciting announcement. USA Today bestseller, Ready to Win, How Great Leaders Succeed Through Preparation. Available online everywhere books are sold online, but now it's available, big announcement, in paperback form. That's right, folks. You can now own your copy of Ready to Win, How Great Leaders Succeed Through Preparation, USA Today best-selling book that's all about preparation that will powerfully position you to win. You can now have your own copy in paperback form. So please go online and take advantage of this exciting announcement and get your copy, your paperback copy of a book that's making a difference in people's lives. It'll make a difference in your life. Go online everywhere books are sold, and you can have that copy. So we're excited about that as we kick off March Madness. Let me ask you this. Are you struggling to get your team to reach their full potential? If that's the case, at Winning Tools, we give you the step-by-step framework to develop leaders, to build winning habits, create lasting success. So join us on that journey that you're on, and let us help you, because when you master the right tools, winning becomes inevitable. And I want you to visit CoachMatthewMitchell.com to book your intro call today, where we can step in and start helping you win. So we are pumped up for March Madness. Coach Mitchell had a lot of success winning in March. 17 NCAA tournament victories while coaching the Kentucky Wildcats. 17. That's a lot of success in March. And what I want to talk to you today is about building a tournament team, because that's what I had to do. You reaped the benefit of your preparation in March, but that preparation started a full 9 months before. Let me explain. When we would start building our tournament team, we started not a couple weeks before the NCAA tournament, but actually 9 months. So June 15th, usually somewhere around that date, was when we started building the team. And so June would turn to July, and then that would go to August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. That's 9 months we would spend building our team so we could have success in the NCAA tournament, in March Madness. We wanted to have success because that's how people viewed you as a program. Were you having competitive success? So what I want to do for you, I want you to stop right now. Today's March the 18th. As you are begin to listen to this, if you're listening to the day that it drops, it's March 18th. And March is going to turn into April, and April is going to turn into May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. You have 9 months left in 2025. And so you have 9 months to build your version of an NCAA tournament team. You have 9 months to build the success you want to have in 2025. And so I want to show you how we would build a basketball team. You can use that same formula that we used to build an NCAA tournament team, a competitively successful team. You can use the same formula I'm going to give you in this podcast today to build your version of that success. So before I give you this formula, I want you to think about, what is your version of success? What would your competitive success look like? You need to define that. It was very evident and obvious to me as the leader of a college basketball program at the highest level of competition. It was very evident what defined competitive success. Certainly winning basketball games. So you look up at the scoreboard and you had more points, you had less. It was very well defined how successful you were. But also, as you started at the beginning of building the team, you could look to the end, NCAA tournament, and that would largely define you as being a successful team if you did that over time and had sustained success. And remember, that's what we are all about, helping you build in your life. Using the winning tools, honesty, hard work, discipline will help you build sustained success in your life. It helped us build sustained success in 13 years as the head coach at Kentucky. We had sustained success. We didn't win every game. We didn't have continuous success. We had some challenges. We had some times where we came up on the road and a big tree had fallen down in the path and we couldn't get there where we exactly wanted to go, and we had to do some work and clear the road so we could keep on moving. But over time, when you look at that, the totality of the effort, all-time winningest coach at that program, because over 13 years we had sustained success. So the same for you. You can do the same thing, but you have to know, what does competitive success look like for you? What is your NCAA tournament? So I want you to define that first and foremost. And when you found that, and when you know what that is, this is how you want to build your version of a tournament team. And there's 3 P's, 3 words that start with P is the formula for building your tournament team. You need to have principles, you need to have a philosophy, and you need to get a plan together. And that's what we're going to show you how to do today, so you can go build your tournament team. And then you are, just like I did over and over and over as the head coach at Kentucky, looked up in March, our name was being called, we would go to the tournament, we had competitive success, 17 wins in 9 tournaments. 17 wins in 9 tournaments. That is a lot of winning. I want you to wake up at the end of 2025 and have your version of that success. And so let's dig into these 3 Ps. Let's start with principles. What are your principles? What anchors you? What tethers you to success? What can you point to that has you anchored, grounded, and moving forward in a positive way? What are those for you? And if you don't have any, just use ours. And ours are well defined. They're called the winning tools: honesty, hard work, discipline. Before you start in the last piece of this, making your plan, you need to go backward and you need to start with what are your principles, because your principles are going to guide the next 2 P's that we talk about, philosophy and plan. But it's very hard to stick with the plan if you don't have a philosophy and if you don't have principles. So your principles are where we begin. Let me give you an example of why principles are so important to you. Because when I went through my most difficult time as a coach, I was able to rely on honesty, hard work, and discipline. When I started the program and didn't really have anything going, I relied on my principles. When we had our greatest successes, I relied on my principles. Anywhere you are on the journey over these next 9 months, you're going to have tremendous moments of success. You're going to have moments of really fertile creativity where ideas are coming your way that just excite you, and you believe they're going to help you move forward. You're going to have times where you feel like you have no answer and you don't know what's going on, and you're going to have times where the wheels are going to come off the wagon. It's going to be down in the ditch, and you're not going to know why it happened, and you're going to have to figure out how to get the wheels back on the wagon and get it up out of the ditch and back on the road that we're headed toward our competitive success. You're going to experience ups, downs, twists, turns, highs, lows, achievement, failure. You're going to experience all of these things. And what I've found is that in all those moments, my principles keep me steady. They keep me solid. They keep me encouraged and moving forward. And so when these things start to happen, when you start trying to navigate a success or a failure or a challenge or a lesson that you need to learn, it's your way of interpreting and breaking down what actually happened so you can extract the value of that event. So we've said this on the podcast before, no losses, only lessons, and honesty, hard work, discipline. My principles allow me to navigate a high or a low and extract the value from it, the information that is helpful. So if it's a loss, we turn that into a lesson. What did I learn about this event in my life? What am I going to do different? What do I need to change to move forward? If I have a success, what did I learn that went right? What did I learn that I need to adjust? What do I learn to keep going and keep having success? No matter what event happens along the path toward building your tournament team, your principles are what keeps you solid. And if you're struggling with it, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just get real honest, commit to working hard, and exercise tremendous discipline. And those principles are enough, I promise you. I've cut down the nets as a champion. If you don't know what that means, from a basketball standpoint, if you've ever seen a basketball goal and game, they're shooting at the goal, ball's going through the goal, there's a net. So the ball doesn't just fly through the goal. There's a net that slows the ball down as it comes out of the net, and then you go on into the next possession. So when you win a championship, the tradition is you get a ladder out, and each member of the team, to signify winning the championship, you cut the net down, or the net's down on both ends, and everybody gets a piece of that net, and that's your piece of the championship. So I have experienced that as a coach, getting on the ladder and cutting down the nets. And honesty, hard work, discipline helped me get on top of that ladder. Honesty, hard work, discipline helped me stay steady after that success and continue on to further success. I've also been at a spot where I was contemplating offering my resignation because the program was in such chaos and had such a catastrophic event in it. And I can remember that time in my career, and I can remember being so confused and so stressed and so worried about the future. And guess what saved me? It was I got a sheet of paper out and I wrote honesty in one column, hard work in the middle column, discipline on the right column, and drew lines. And whenever a difficult challenge came up, I just put them in one of those buckets. Is this something I need to get more honest about and evaluate? Is this something I need to work harder at or give more focused effort? Or is this some place where I need to exercise more discipline? And that cut through all the complexity. So you see, that's how principles are first. And principles are key. It's the first key, the first P in this formula of building your tournament team. Number 2, philosophy. You have to have a philosophy on how you are going to get there. How are you going to execute the plan has so much to do with your philosophy. Your philosophy is all about how you're going to move through the actions that are required for you to be competitively successful in your profession, in whatever that undertaking you are engaged in, whatever that form of you building a tournament team, whatever that is. We need to know philosophically, how do we look at accomplishing that? So let me explain that from a basketball standpoint. There's many, many different ways to play the game of basketball from a philosophical standpoint. So there's offense, there's offensive basketball where you are shooting the ball, passing and shooting the ball with the goal for the ball to go through the basket. That's offense. Defense is preventing the offense from getting the ball in the basket. So you can have an offensive centric mind and philosophy, and hey, we're just going to outscore people. You could be rooted philosophically in defense, and we're really going to be known for shutting people down and it being hard to score. You can have philosophical ideas on the pace that you play with. Do I play real fast? Am I more deliberate? There's all sorts of different ways. And what's the beauty of the NCAA tournament and what's happening right now on the women's side and men's side, if you watch these games, you'll see different philosophies. So you don't need to worry about having someone else's philosophy or whatever anybody else is doing. You need to figure out philosophically, how do you approach competitive success? What is your philosophy to do that? So my example, personal example, is when I started as the coach at Kentucky, I was so excited. It was the opportunity, coaching opportunity of my lifetime up to that point. It was like reaching the top of the mountain, and I was very excited, and I was very optimistic. I was extremely optimistic that things were going to go very well. And 2 years in, they had not gone very well. They had been mediocre at best. Our record was one game over 500, 33-32 overall, and we were underwater by one game in our record in the conference. And conference performance in the Southeastern Conference, that's really how you're defined. That's your peer group that you're competing against. And one game under 500 is not standing out. Mediocre and actually closer to failing. And I was feeling that. And my philosophy at the time was very traditional. How the game was being played was very traditional. I was trying to mimic how the good teams in our conference, the Tennessees, the LSUs, the Georgias, were having success. I was trying to mimic that philosophically, and that was not working. We could not get enough talent. We couldn't get the right kind of talent to fit the philosophy. And so I had the wrong philosophy because it was not fitting our players, our program. We were not having success. So I took a risk and I changed philosophically how we approach the game of basketball. So the traditional way was to get, one really big, strong post player called a center and a lot of size in what's called the front court. And then your back court, your guards were smaller but quick and fast and good shooters. And so it was real. And then you played at a pretty deliberate pace, and you tried to overpower people with more talent and bigger players and players that had more height. And you just tried to out-rebound people. And there was a real traditional approach to the game. Well, we did not possess the personnel to play this way. But what we did possess were quick players, athletic players, fast players. So we changed philosophically, and what our philosophy became was no matter what we did, whether it was offense or defense, we were going to play at an extremely high tempo. We were going to go fast. That meant we were trying to speed the other team up when we were on defense. So we did what we called a full court press. So a lot of people would run back and wait for the offense to come to them, and they would try to build, the proverbial fence around the goal and not let you get close to the goal, and they were kind of protecting the goal. Our philosophy was we were attacking the offense. So as soon as the ball came in bounds, we were playing defense all over the court. It was a very different philosophy than what most people were doing, but it fit the resources we had. We became known as the most up-tempo team in the world. Men's, women's, college basketball, pro basketball, whatever you want to. We became known as our program for being an up-tempo, fast-paced program, and that was our philosophy. Now, what allowed us to get to the philosophy were our principles: honesty, hard work, discipline, because it took a whole lot of honesty to figure out that we had the wrong philosophy for the resources that we had. It took a whole lot of hard work to get in the kind of shape physically and mentally you needed to play this attacking style. It took a tremendous amount of discipline to uphold that conditioning once you earned it, or to keep playing this style of play when a lot of people were telling you it was not going to work. It took a tremendous amount of discipline to get to the right spot on the court because your teammate was depending on you to be there. So the principles were incredibly important to inform the philosophy and then also stay true to the philosophy. So my encouragement to you is make sure you take a principled approach and take a good look at how do you approach competitive success philosophically. You got to get solid on that. You got to get straight on that. You got to know what it is, and your team has to know what it is. And that alignment is important. And everybody that was in our program knew what the principles were. We talked about them literally every day: honesty, hard work, discipline. And they knew what the philosophy was. Toughest, grittiest, most up-tempo team in the country. That was our philosophy. So then we come to the third P, the plan. And so the plan is now informed by the philosophy and guided by the principles. And the plan takes shape. Here's what you need for the plan. You need to make sure you have enough time, resources, and energy to execute the plan. In the beginning of the season, June 15th, actually even before June 15th, I had the year mapped out. I had all the practices on the calendar. I had all the games on the calendar. I had all the team meetings on the calendar. I allocated the time we were going to have to spend in order to build our tournament team. Now, you may be like, hey, I can't plan that far out. I can't plan to the end of 2025 because things change. Listen, don't worry about that. Things change all the time. I doubt that there was ever a year where I had the plan on June 15th all the way through the end of March and March Madness and NCAA tournament where we didn't make some adjustment to the plan. But the bulk of the plan allows you to stay on course. So time's very important. Your resources, what money's needed for you to put into marketing or sales training or coaching, what money do you need? What time of resources do you need? What talent do you need? So your resources, you have to get clear on that as you develop the plan. What are you capable of doing? So let your principles and philosophy guide that part. And then we have to stay energetic. I want you to be excited about the next 9 months and what you can accomplish as you are trying to build your tournament team. And this is what I know: you can do it. You can do it. So in review, as we are building our tournament team, we have to get solid on our principles. We have to be aware and locked in on our philosophy, and we need to develop and stick to an incredible winning plan. So I hope that's encouraging for you as we head into March Madness. And I want you to remind you this is that success isn't about luck. It is built with the right tools. And winning tools will give you the strategies you need to transform your team's mindset, to develop the leaders on your team, and to create lasting impact in your performance. So if you're ready to do that, I want you to go to CoachMatthewMitchell.com and book an intro call with me today. And we need to get the winning tools. We need to make them come alive in your life and in your business and in your success. And I want you to know that we are ready to do that. Will you subscribe to this podcast? Will you do that for me? In celebration of March Madness, will you subscribe to the Coach Matthew Mitchell Show? I would be appreciative of you walking along this journey with me. So just hit that subscribe button. It's on Spotify, I know. It's on Apple. Is it on Odyssey? Do we know? Yes. Megan says yes. All-star producer Megan Weincheck is in the studio, as always. She says yes. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to go back and check that. I'm not sure that it is. But I do know it's on Spotify and Apple and pretty much everywhere you get your podcast. If you consume the podcast Apple, would you subscribe and then write us a review? That's a great way to support what we're doing here. But go to CoachMatthewMitchell.com. Go buy a new paperback copy of Ready to Win, How Great Leaders Succeed Through Preparation. Get involved here. Get involved with the winning tools. I hope your team or teams win this March. Congratulations to you if your team made it to March Madness and is a tournament team. Now, be inspired by them and go build your tournament team. We'll be back the same time next week, encouraging you with the winning tools. We'll see you next week, everybody. I'm Coach Matthew.